If you're already over 60, I want to ask you a very simple question, one that many people have never really stopped to think about. How does your morning usually begin? You wake up, you sit on the edge of the bed for a moment, your body feels a little heavy, your mind isn't fully awake yet, and you tell yourself, I'm not hungry, I'll eat later. So you take your medication, you drink some water, maybe just a cup of coffee or tea, and then you start your day, and in your mind you think, this is probably just age. I'm older now. Mornings are supposed to be slow. But as a doctor who has crossed the age of 60 myself, and who has spent more than 30 years working with older adults, I want to tell you something very important. Not every uncomfortable morning is caused by aging itself. In many cases, it's because of how your body is, or is not, supported at the very start of the day. My name is Dr. David Warren. I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this to give you back understanding and control over your own body. After 60, the body doesn't tolerate things the way it used to. It doesn't protest loudly. It doesn't sound alarms right away. It adapts quietly. You don't collapse. You just notice that you feel tired earlier than before, more easily irritated, more forgetful, less steady on your feet, and somehow, mornings feel harder than they used to. Many people tell me, Doctor, I don't have any serious illness, but I just don't feel okay anymore. And the real question isn't, am I getting older? The real question is my body being neglected during the most important hours of the day? Because after 60, the morning is not just a time of day. It becomes the foundation for your energy, your mental clarity, your strength, your emotional balance, and your stability for the rest of the day. In this video, I'm not going to tell you to eat more, and I'm not going to say everyone must eat breakfast the same way. I'm going to sit here the way a doctor speaks to a longtime patient and explain to you what really happens inside the body after 60 when the morning is left empty, why small changes now matter more than you might think, and how you can protect your health, your independence, and the feeling that you are still in control of your life. No fear, no extremes, just a clear understanding of your body at this stage of life. Point 1. After 60, the body wakes up with low baseline energy. Your breakfast becomes the on switch. Let me explain this in a very simple way. When you were younger, your body was like a brand new car. You could skip breakfast, turn the key, and the engine would still start. It might run a little rough, but it would run. After 60, the body doesn't work that way anymore. All night long, even while you sleep, your body is working. Your heart keeps pumping. Your brain stays active. Your muscles support your joints and spine. Your liver releases background energy to keep your blood sugar stable. In other words, when you wake up, your tank is not full. It's already running low, just trying to stay balanced. So what happens when you skip breakfast? Your body doesn't argue with you. It simply switches into conservation mode. The brain slows down to save energy. Muscles hold less strength. The nervous system tightens to compensate. Stress hormones increase just to keep you alert. You don't feel pain. You just notice mornings are hard to get started. Your body feels weaker. You're more easily annoyed. Everything takes more effort than it should. Many people say, I'm not doing anything strenuous. Why am I tired every morning? You're not weak. Your body is trying to start the day without fuel. What happens when you support your body properly in the morning? When your body receives even a small signal of nourishment at the right time. Stress hormones decrease. The brain gets the green light to function more clearly. Balance improves. Shakiness, restlessness, and shortness of breath decrease. You don't need to eat a big meal. You just need to tell your body, today there is enough. Practical guidance for older adults. I'm not asking you to eat a large breakfast, completely change your routine. All you need is a small amount of food within 1 to 2 hours after waking, a little protein plus slow-release energy. For example, 1 egg, a cup of yogurt, a slice of bread with protein, or anything light, familiar, and easy to digest. The goal is not to feel full. The goal is to turn the system on gently. My personal advice as a 60-year-old doctor, I often tell my patients, after 60, the morning is not a time to test your body. It's a time to care for it. If your mornings often feel more tiring than expected, irritable for no clear reason, mentally slow, physically unsteady. Don't rush to blame age. Look at how you begin your day. One small change at the right time can change how your entire day feels. Point 2. Your brain after 60 is not broken. It's just less tolerant of hunger. There's a quiet fear many older adults carry, but rarely say out loud. You may wonder, why am I forgetting things more often? Why does my mind feel slow in the morning? Is my memory declining? As a doctor, I want you to understand this clearly. In many cases, the brain is not failing. It's simply working without proper support. After 60, the brain still functions well, but it becomes more sensitive to timing. It needs steady energy, not a lot, but it does not tolerate long delays. When you wake up and go hours without eating, the brain shifts into survival mode. Higher functions like focus, memory, and quick thinking are pushed aside. You may notice slower thinking, forgetting what you were about to do, difficulty making simple decisions, reading without absorbing the information. And this is often mistaken for age-related memory loss. That misunderstanding creates unnecessary fear. What happens when the brain is gently woken up? When you provide light energy in the morning, the brain receives a safety signal. Neurochemicals stabilize, focus improves, morning brain fog decreases. Many patients tell me, "Doctor, I didn't realize eating just a little earlier could make such a difference." Not because they ate more, but because they ate at the right time. Simple, practical guidance. If your mornings often include brain fog, forgetfulness, difficulty getting started, try this. Eat a small portion. Don't let the brain wait too long after waking. Choose familiar, easy to digest foods. Some protein and steady energy. No need for sugar or sweets. This is not about boosting memory overnight. It's about removing unnecessary strain from the brain. My personal advice I often say to people over 60, the brain is very loyal. If you treat it gently in the morning, it will serve you well all day. Don't assume you're declining. You may simply be starting your day too harshly on yourself. Point 3. An empty morning can quietly destabilize your blood sugar and your emotions. Many older adults say the same thing to me. "Doctor, I don't eat sweets. Why do I still feel shaky, restless, or anxious in the morning?" The answer usually isn't what you eat. It's how long you don't eat. After 60, the body no longer adjusts blood sugar as smoothly as before. In the morning, after a long night, blood sugar is naturally lower. The liver works to keep it stable. When food is delayed too long, stress hormones are released to keep you alert. The nervous system becomes overstimulated. Blood sugar becomes unstable, dropping and spiking more easily, and you don't just feel this physically, you feel it emotionally. You may notice mild hand tremors, lightheadedness, a faster heartbeat, anxiety without a clear reason, irritability, or impatience. Many people think, "I must be weak. I'm just more sensitive now." But the truth is, this is physiology, not personality. Benefits of stabilizing blood sugar early. With a small, appropriate morning meal, blood sugar steadies, the nervous system calms, anxiety decreases, your daily rhythm feels smoother. You're less likely to feel extreme hunger at lunchtime, crave sweets or refined carbs, feel drained all day. Practical guidance. Avoid extremes. If you feel shaky in the morning, experience unexplained anxiety, have prediabetes, or take medications, don't challenge your body with prolonged breakfast skipping. You can eat very little, but eat early and consistently. For example, a small amount of protein, a bit of slow-release energy. Avoid leaving your stomach completely empty until noon. My personal advice I often tell my patients, after 60, the body prefers steadiness over endurance. You don't need strict discipline. You need cooperation. When your mornings are stable, your emotions tend to be more stable too. Point 4. Skipping breakfast forces your body to use your own strength to survive, and that slowly makes you weaker. There's something very important that people over 60 are rarely told clearly. After this age, the body naturally loses muscle every year. Whether you exercise or not, this process happens quietly, no pain, no warning. And when the morning goes by without any nourishment, that process speeds up. Why? Because when the body needs energy and doesn't get it from food, it has to find energy somewhere else. And that source is usually not fat at first. It's muscle. This doesn't mean you wake up one day suddenly weak. It happens gradually. Climbing stairs feels a little harder. You need your hands to push yourself up from a chair. Walking a bit farther makes you tired. Stepping off a curb requires more caution. And then one day you realize, why don't I feel confident in my body anymore? That moment is painful for many people, but they often tell themselves, I guess this is just aging. I have to accept it. Not necessarily. Real benefits of protecting your body in the morning. When your body receives even a small amount of protein early in the day, muscle breakdown slows down. Muscles receive a signal to stay protected. Strength is maintained better. Balance becomes more stable. This directly affects your ability to take care of yourself, your risk of falling, your level of independence in daily life. After 60, preserving muscle is just as important as treating disease. Practical guidance for real life. You do not need intense workouts, complicated supplements. You only need to avoid letting your morning be completely protein-free. Even a small amount matters. Simple examples: 1 egg, a bit of milk or yogurt, a familiar, easy-to-eat protein source. This is not about building muscle. It's about preventing your body from breaking itself down. My personal advice I always tell my patients over 60, you don't need to be as strong as you were at 30. You just need to be strong enough to live the life you want. Skipping breakfast may seem like a small thing, but repeated over time, it quietly takes away your strength, your stability, and your confidence. Point 5. When the morning lacks nourishment, your heart and nervous system carry an unnecessary burden. There's something very few people over 60 are told clearly. Your heart is still strong and loyal, but after decades of work, it no longer likes surprises. Morning is the time when the heart adjusts its rhythm, adapts to standing and moving, stabilizes blood pressure after a night of rest. When you don't eat, the body uses stress hormones to stay alert. The nervous system activates earlier than necessary. The heart works in a constant state of alert. You may feel a stronger heartbeat, restlessness, mild chest tightness, difficulty relaxing, even before doing anything physical. Many people describe it this way: I wake up already feeling tired, like the day starts in a stressed state. This is not mental weakness. It's a physiological response to the body lacking a sense of safety. Real benefits when the heart is calmed early in the day. When the body receives a light breakfast, the nervous system settles, stress hormones decrease, blood pressure stabilizes, heart rhythm becomes steadier. As a result, mornings feel less tense, less anxious for no clear reason, more okay sooner. Practical guidance for those with chronic conditions: if you have a history of high blood pressure, have heart conditions, take morning medications, skipping breakfast is usually not a good choice. You don't need a large meal, anything complicated. You just need a small amount of familiar food, enough for the body to feel cared for as the day begins. My personal advice to people over 60, I always say, the heart doesn't need you to push it to be strong. It needs you to make its work easier. Morning is not a time to test willpower. It's a time to create safety for the heart and nervous system. Point 6. Skipping breakfast after 60 doesn't help with weight loss. It often makes the body store more. Many older adults say this to me, and I hear real exhaustion in their voices. Doctor, I eat very little. I even skip breakfast. Why am I still gaining weight? It sounds illogical, but biology after 60 no longer follows the old rules. When you're young, skipping meals, the body burns more energy eating less. Weight drops easily. After 60, skipping meals, the body enters defensive mode. When there's no food in the morning, the body senses uncertainty in food supply. Metabolism slows to conserve energy. When food finally comes, the body tends to store more. The result? More belly fat, intense hunger at lunch or later, poor portion control later in the day. The feeling of, I don't eat much, yet I gain weight. This is not lack of discipline. It's survival biology in an aging body. Real benefits of light, consistent breakfast. When you eat a small breakfast at the right time, the body feels safe. Metabolism runs more smoothly. Hunger and fullness hormones balance better. Cravings later in the day decrease. Many people notice, I eat a little in the morning, but I feel more in control all day. Practical guidance. Avoid common mistakes if your goal is weight maintenance. Avoiding belly fat. Feeling lighter overall. Don't start the day in complete deprivation. Instead, eat small but regularly, choose familiar, easy to digest foods. Avoid skipping and then overeating later. My personal advice, I always tell people over 60, your body doesn't need to be forced, it needs reassurance. Weight control at this age doesn't come from starvation. It comes from a stable biological rhythm, and that rhythm begins in the morning. Point 7. Not everyone over 60 is the same, but ignoring morning signals is a common mistake. At this point, I want to clarify something very important. You may have heard someone say, I've skipped breakfast my whole life and I'm fine. And that may be true for them. But after 60, context matters more than habit. At this stage, the body is more sensitive, slower to adapt, less able to tolerate long-term imbalance. Skipping breakfast isn't always wrong, but it becomes risky when paired with weakness, dizziness, or shakiness upon waking brain fog, or poor concentration, morning anxiety or irritability, unsteady walking, the need for morning medications. If you live with pre-diabetes or diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, muscle loss or frailty, a history of falls, skipping breakfast is usually not a wise choice. What I want you to remember is this. Aging doesn't require you to eat less. It requires you to eat smarter. For some people, a very light breakfast is enough. For others, a slightly delayed but intentional meal works better. The biggest mistake is forcing yourself into a pattern that doesn't fit your body. My personal advice. After 60, wisdom is not about endurance, it's about listening. If you feel better in the morning when you eat a little, your body feels steadier, your mind is clearer. That's not weakness. That's your body communicating with you. After 60, life is no longer about moving faster. It's about protecting what truly matters. Energy, mental clarity, strength, emotional balance. And the feeling that you are still in control of your life. Breakfast may seem small, but repeated every day, it quietly shapes how you age. I've seen many people move, from exhaustion to stability, from anxiety to calm, from self-doubt to confidence, not through medication, not through drastic change, but through kinder mornings. If you can do one small thing tomorrow, let it be this. Don't let your body start the day in a state of lack. If this video helped you understand your body better, please subscribe and continue this conversation with me about health after 60. And remember, this video is for educational purposes only and does not replace personal medical advice. If you have medical conditions or take medications, please talk with your doctor.